Here, hi. Yeah, I come from Boba Network. My name is Ino. We're an optimistic rollup, but we're more than that. We've also built something called hybrid compute. And the reason why we started building hybrid compute was that we looked at the landscape of different scaling solutions and applications that exist already, and we saw that there's something that's really missing is more powerful apps, better UX, something that would closely resemble how a mobile application works when it talks to the cloud. And we kind of looked at, let's say, how Ethereum works, and the premise of Ethereum is that, all right, a Bitcoin is good as a ledger, but a computer is better. So our vision was, can we make optimistic rollups a more connected computer than Ethereum? Now, looking at Ethereum for the last, since 2014, not a lot has changed in terms of computation, and that's very much expected. It's not something, you wouldn't expect computational power from Ethereum, because it targets different systems, right? It has to be decentralized, it has to be connected, it has to be inclusive. So there are computational limitations built in, and that's fine. Now, these limitations are, they work to a certain extent, but there are things that we can't do, like we can only use integers. We can't have random numbers because there are, you have a large number of decentralized computers that need to agree to a certain result, and these are like the hard limitations. And in a decentralized environment, it would be almost impossible to figure these things out. So here comes layer 2. We could say that based on the current technology that Ethereum's fundamental problems like transaction speed, cost of transactions are solved in layer 2s. These things were solved by basically separating storage from computation, and layer 2s basically just do computation, and then they offload all the storage to Ethereum. Now, we were looking at this, and we're trying to figure out, so what can we actually do more than Ethereum does in terms of computation? And one of the things how layer 2 rollups work is that they have a centralized block producer. Now, we can use that to augment Ethereum with things that were limiting us in a decentralized Ethereum world. So our premise is that, Ethereum was fine, but could we augment Ethereum? Could we augment the EVM to do more than what Ethereum is already doing? Now, we've solved this by getting straight into the execution engine of get, the state transition function. We've modified that particular state transition function by catching certain functions, certain invocations, and do random numbers and arbitrary Web2 API calls. And you can do all that in a single atomic transaction. So what we would give you is like we call it a Turing-Halpern contract. This Turing contract would accept, let's say for consuming Web2 APIs, URL and a body. We would intercept these function calls, do the HTTP call, return the result, append it to the call data that's being submitted to L1, and send this to Ethereum. Now, the reason why we add this into the call data is because layer 2 optimistic rollup system, like a system, is has these nodes called verifiers, and it replays and recomputes all the transactions based on the data, the call data that's been sent to Ethereum. Yes, so the optimistic rollups are mostly all based on Geth, and we've basically did the same thing. We intercept the function calls and prefix the call data being sent to Ethereum. So the things that we've seen how people use our system is that we try to bring in more computation with data that isn't available in rollups. So you could have like more intensive computations in the cloud and bring that computation onto the ledger. Let's say NFT evaluation modules. You could have like atomic random number generation for NFTs, so have dynamic NFTs. Something that we've also did, like for example, is a Twitter faucet that the ledger itself, the smart contracts call Twitter API and verifies that the entity requesting data is actually exists, and then we give like BOBA tokens or ETH tokens to the requester. We see like DAOs using this for rewards of off-chain activities. But basically, our premise is that we give the tooling to developers and then they can build whatever they want. And speaking to the developers, we see that it's incredibly popular, and they can, the limitations of these tools is limitless. I invite you to check out the bit.ly link, the Get Turing. I would close this by saying, that you can access random numbers and off-chain APIs, Web2 APIs, directly from the smart contracts. And like we believe that the next step for Ethereum for layer 2s is not only because we went from compatibility of EVM to equality EVM, and we think that the next step is going to we should be making EVM smarter and bring more computational power to the chain. So that's a very short presentation of BOBA Network Turing Hybrid Compute. I invite you to check how it works. That's it for me. Questions? All right. Thank you.